Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again with us on our Bible studies for the book of Proverbs. Today we were in Proverbs chapter 25, and yesterday we got to see the difference between good and evil, blessedness and wickedness, righteousness and wickedness. Doing what is right, you will gain favor. Doing what is wicked, you will have a penalty. And so we kind of looked at that, and that's what a lot of these Proverbs are. But this one is going to change us up just a little bit and just give us these nuggets of wisdom that we've been discussing. So let's look at Proverbs chapter 25. It says, "These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied." So Hezekiah was a few years after Solomon, but these men copied these and added them too. It says, "It is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings is to search things out. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and the smith has material for a vessel. Take away the wicked from the presence of the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Do not put yourself forward in the king's presence, or stand in the place of the great. For it is better to be told, 'Come up here,' than to be put lower in the presence of the noble." So here we have these sayings of the king, and how the king it's good for the king to search out things, search out truths, even though God conceals some things. We don't know everything of the universe, thankfully, but we do know many things about the universe, and we're learning more all the time. And it's all been revealed to us through his mighty power. But here we see the idea of living with the king, and how the king is going to act. If he has good people around him, he's going to act well. If he has wicked people around him, he's going to be wicked. And then it says, "Do not put yourself forward in the presence of the king." What he's getting at there is, don't put your place in a spot of the great, of the noble. It's better to be called up and talked greatly than to put yourself in a place that you have not earned. It says, "What your eyes have seen, do not hastily bring into court. For what will you do in the end when your neighbor puts you to shame?" That's kind of a thing of don't come to conclusions too quickly. Sometimes we see things and we jump to our own conclusion, and it's not the right one. So we need to be careful that we take into account everything that may be going on. All right. "Argue your case with your neighbor himself, and do not reveal another's secret, lest he who hears you bring shame upon you, and your ill repute have no end." So here, don't gossip in that sense. "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver. Like a gold ring or an ornament of gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear. Like the cold of snow in the time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him. He refreshes the soul of his masters. Like clouds and wind without rain is a man who boasts of the gift he does not give." So here we see these ideas of how we speak. If we speak in a right way, it's like a nugget of gold in silver. If we listen to reproof, we are going to gain knowledge. If we are a messenger that brings good tidings, we're going to be received greatly. But we got to be careful that we don't say we can do something and not be able to follow through. "With patience a ruler may be persuaded, and a soft tongue will break a bone. If you have found honey, eat only enough for you, lest you have your fill of it and vomit it. Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he have his fill of you and hate you. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a war club, or a sword, or a sharp arrow. Trusting in a treacherous man in a time of trouble is like a bad tooth or a foot that slips. Whoever sings songs to a heavy heart is like one who takes off a garment on a cold day, and like vinegar on soda." So here we see a few things. One is we can be more persuasive with honey than with vinegar, is how some people say this. And then it says, don't eat too much honey, lest you vomit it out. Only eat that which you need to enjoy. We got that in all kinds of things in our life. We have opportunities to have good things, and so we need to be careful that we don't take more than what we need. I like this: let your foot seldom hit your neighbor's house. That means don't overstay your welcome. What do they say? Just like fish, after 3 days, they kind of smell and you don't want them around anymore. Here he's saying don't let your foot be in there too long at all. And then it talks about trusting in those who bear false witness, who are doing things wrongly. They're like a sword or a dagger in the back type of thing. All right, verse 21. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. I like this one because a lot of times we don't do things for those that we consider our enemy, whether that be foreign enemy, whether that be domestic enemy, whether that be a neighbor enemy, whether that be an enemy within your own household. I don't know what your enemies are, but we need to be careful that we don't try to hurt those that are trying to hurt us. Pardon me. It is that time of year again where my allergies start hitting up. All right. The north wind brings forth rain, and the backbiting tongue angry looks. It is better to live in the corner of a housetop than in the house shared with a quarrelsome wife. We've looked at that one a few times, and that is the idea of not having that in your life. It's better to be in a different situation. Like cold water to a thirsty soul, so is good news from a far country. Like a muddied spring or a polluted fountain is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, nor is it glorious to seek one's own glory. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. And so here we finish up this proverb by talking about the opportunity to be righteous before the wicked, how to not indulge too much, and to continue with self-control. And if you have self-control, you're going to do well. But if you don't have self-control, you have no defense. Everything is wide open and you're going to get hurt. All right. Well, thank you for listening to Proverbs chapter 25 with me, and we will see you again next time. God bless.